Hezze podcast. This is episode 25. And this one's gonna be more of a quick one because you can't really call the game yesterday any type of um, not necessarily interesting, but you can't really say that many things happened yesterday. Not an eventful game. That's the word I was looking for. I am having some connection issues today, so I hope the show goes on without any interruptions. Before I get into promoting stuff, before I get into any sorts of that, and before again I get a confirmation that everything is okay connection wise, I do want to wish the speediest of recoveries to Moses, right? Of course, because as I mentioned earlier on Twitter, there is no use to talk about teams here. There is no anything to talk about teams here. Moses is only a few years older than me. I am 20 for those of you who don't know. We are talking about a serious health problem from out of nowhere, which a young kid is suffering from. Like, there's no point if he plays for us, if he played for Pana, if he played for Real, if he played for whoever. He is gonna be out for a while. Most sites are writing 3 months total minimum, and we are waiting on further updates. Where Olympiacos are waiting on further tests, as far as I'm aware. Due to privacy reasons and medical reasons, not a lot can be known about what Moses is suffering from. Not a lot can really be said in general due to the lack of details. So all we can really and honestly do is wish Moses a speedy recovery and wait and see what the team does, whether that's in the market, whether that's going forward with Milu and Moose. We need to wait and see. The comments that we did see from a specific account on Twitter especially is something not even close to human. It's inhumane. I'd say it's something to be ashamed for, but I know that that specific someone I'm talking about, I'm not even going to name the name. Most of you who watch this now or later will know that specific someone that I am talking about doesn't feel shame, doesn't care, and the large following he has, because he does have a very large following, they should be ashamed of themselves. They should be severely ashamed of themselves if they can feel shame. Just hope it's not as serious as some stuff has been mentioned. I'm not mentioning anything that specific because there are a lot of things going around. It's a 3 month minimum, as far as I know. And there are some talks about it being an issue involving a heart problem. So we can only hope and pray that it's not that. And wait and see. Just wanted to give out the information I know. I wanted to just take a moment and focus on the things that need to be focused and give a gentle reminder to everyone that we are all human. And sometimes sports don't really matter that much. And after having had the more or less, at least trouble-saving injury that I did have back in June, I do want to focus on this stuff. And I take this stuff, even as news, way more seriously than I did before. We're all human, and we need to remember that. The serious stuff out of the way. As always, if you're new, do go check out what the banner says. If you're old, you already know what I'll talk about. The show is anywhere and everywhere. Like and subscribe here if you like what you see. There is a catalog of episodes, collaborations, an interview, vlogs, anything and everything you like. Social media wise, the show is on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Bluesky now. Constant updates there, news, and everything I can post with at least the most certainty that I can. And of course, the episodes do go up on Spotify as long as it does collaborate with me, because it does take a few hours to post episodes on Spotify. So apologies if some episodes are up late. And yeah, that's about it. The show also, of course, is on the Patreon. Anything given to the Patreon will be used solely for this show, nothing else. Whether that's for this guy right here, the StreamYard subscription, for me to be able to go live here and on another platform like Twitter, for example, at the same time, whether that's for a mic or anything else, all that will be used from the StreamYard money if anyone wants to help. Yeah, I think that's about it for the serious and not serious introduction. Let's get into the game, shall we? A game that, of course, as I wrote in the description before starting the show, while it's not a full-on disaster of a result, surely it's not ideal to go back-to-back, to go with back-to-back draws in the Europa League. A game that lacked a lot, in my opinion. We got massively hurt by the absences we've had, whether that was the Chiquinho that couldn't play, as it seems, or Mendilibar decided not to risk him, whether that was, of course, our most quality player out wide, in that being Gelson Martins. I won't say Carmo as well, because of course that's our most serious absence, with him being rumored to be out for a month. But honestly, I have zero complaints defensive wise. I don't think anyone can have a complaint from anyone that played at the back, whether that's Costinha, whether that's Arechos, whether that's Pirola, whether that's Ortega, who has come back like a man on a mission, as it seems, or whether that's even Rodinei, who moved back to the right back position at some point. I think everyone did what they could perfectly, hence, of course, the clean sheet, even though we didn't really concede that many chances, but still a very solid work at the back with flowers that are more than deserved to be given, honestly. Mouzakitis and Dani Garcia was the duo that started the game at the midfield. The duo that I would have gone with, and Kostoulas did once again more or less all they could. Mouzakitis, of course, having a wonderful game once again. Dani Garcia doing his job, improving more and more. Of course, not as spectacular of a performance as he had against Pauk and Ike, but again, nothing really to complain about there. Kostoulas at the 10 with Rodney, of course, starting up front, and them two just switching around constantly with Rodney spending a few minutes at the 10 as well. And then it was Masouras, a man who, I'll say it again, I'm not going to be one of the people that just drive him out the team immediately and always, because I don't like using players as scapegoats. But Masouras is on a bad run of form. He has been on a bad run of form for a while. He started as a necessity, not because he would have been a starter either way, but this man needs a goal. He desperately needs a goal. And I really hope he gets it soon, because I do want him to get out of that pit he's currently in right now. Because at this rate, it's going to be hard, not hard to watch. It's going to be hard for him to give what we know he can give to the rest of the team if he doesn't just slowly. I'm not saying that he needs to just be at his best immediately, but he needs to just slowly go back up the ladder of form and slowly get back to his top. Because again, I don't want to be the person that says no, he needs to go. I stated my opinion last season. I did think he needed to go last season. I'm not gonna hide that. I did think that whether the Bochum interest was something substantial or not, I did think he needed to go, but he stayed, and as with everyone, I want to just push some positivity and for us to be behind players, especially the ones that are on bad form. And up until either January or the summer transfer window where we can talk transfers again, we need to be behind everyone that we know can give to this team, because there are some people that really can't, but that's a whole different story. And up top was Ayoub El-Kabi, who did miss a couple of chances. Ayoub missed a couple of very good chances, which is, as we move on, it's more or less a rarity for Ayoub to miss chances like that. But it happened. I honestly don't have anything to complain about starting 11 wise. We were just lackluster where we needed to do some more. Of course, the Romanian side played a rough football. The Romanian side played a wrestling type of football. Of course, the most brutal play was that of the bad injury of Roman Yaremchuk, who left with. I don't know if his nose broke. I don't know if it was a fracture. I don't know if it was a simple bleed, but he left with a bloody shirt, got subbed out 7 minutes after he got subbed in, getting honestly very unlucky. So I'm not gonna just dump him in the same bucket as some others from yesterday. I've said my opinion on Yaremchuk. Just something is not letting me write him off completely. But if we do find a deal for him in January, a proper deal, I think we either to send him out on loan or sell him. So yeah, the Romanian side played very, very rough football, of course, getting a red as well at the 67th minute, which we really didn't stand to utilize, of course. The 10-man side closed down completely at the back. They played even rougher football than they did at the start, which just didn't let us play our game at all. Exactly. That's the point I'm building at. I'm building to. The ref didn't help. The ref let Steaua get away with a lot. I'm not saying there should have been another red, but there should definitely have been more yellows. He could have definitely forced more discipline out of the players, but he didn't. He started doing that only in the second half, which was a bit too late, honestly. And he definitely contributed to the game becoming like that. But you all know me that I don't like talking about refereeing at all. I don't want to steer towards that, but he definitely did play a part. Now, moving on to the subs, moving on to my rant. The first substitution pause was a double. Willian coming in for Yorgos Masuras and Santiago Hezze coming in for Costinha, which sent Rodinei back to the left back. Hezze having an incredible return. Honestly, one of the best performers that wasn't one of the best performers that weren't in the defense from yesterday. William, William. I was excited when this man came in. I really was. Seems like I haven't learned my lesson, honestly. I don't get how some papers came out. I mean, I know whose papers came out and said good things about William. It's the same old again. If I'm not mistaken, it's been about a month that William has been in a matchday squad in general. He came in for lackluster Masuras, honestly, and he was even more lackluster. Sure, he ran a bit. He didn't do a single worthwhile thing, in my opinion. And of course, the game ended. As I tweeted out, a tweet that did gather some attention. The game ended with a Willian cross that went to butt fuck nowhere. Someone said that Rodinei didn't follow, but I think it's pretty hard for Rodinei to follow into the stratosphere where that ball was sent. Rodinei is not Barry Allen. Rodinei is not the Flash. And I think that just fully misplaced cross to the other side of the field and the corner flag just sums up Williams' contribution to the team up until now. There's no other comments to say worthwhile, in my opinion, for this man. And another very interesting case is Christopher Felde, who was back, replacing Danny Garcia. Christopher Velde coming on in the 77th, which meant he had 13 clear minutes to do something. He didn't do a single thing, once again. Didn't play badly, but didn't play good either. He was the definition of mediocre. And I feel like that's once again in a bigger caliber game that Velde doesn't do a thing. He doesn't do a thing. I don't know if I've said this before, but I don't know if especially that pre-season just sent our standards up for him to the sky. But I think his chances are running out as well. I don't know if he's one of the players to go in January. I don't think he is. I do want to give him a season. I know that in a moment of anger, I have said that I don't want to see him at all. But I do want to stay by that final thing I had said, that I do want to give him a season league-wise. I don't want Velde to be playing in Europe, and I don't want Velde to be getting time, at least a lot of time in the derby. I want him to play in the league, and at least until he picks up the momentum he needs to pick up. Because again, this is a mentality player. He needs a goal, he needs an assist, he needs contributions. And of course, that's not a goal like the goals he got with Kalifea or Panserikos, if I'm not completely mistaken. But it's either get multiple goals in games like that, or get a goal or two, or an assist even in a big game where you are needed to get those types of goals. You're being brought in with 13 left to close the game, to get something. Get something out of the game. I do want to give him some more time, but again, under the clauses that I said, in my opinion. And last but not least, last but very least, actually, coming in with 5 minutes left, replacing the injured Roman Yaremchuk, is one of the most useless players I've seen. Just can't help it anymore, okay? I'm pro positivity and I've said this, but it's one time too many, isn't it? For Sergio Oliveira. People had doubts. I had doubts when he came in. And he's one of the few that proved my doubts right. I think he goes. I think that's it. With January very fast approaching, I think that's it. I think that for the next month he gets in to close some games that are already done to rest people, and I think that is gone after that. There is a bucket of people that need to, just to put it plainly, that need to fuck off in January, and he is, I think, at the top of that pile. Just get him out first out of this club. The rest are people like Stamenic, who doesn't even play anymore. Willian, if we get an offer, I'm sending him off without the slightest of doubts. And yeah, there needs to be a clear out once again in the summer, very sadly. Velde has a market value of 6.1 million. That's insane to me. Surely it will get dropped in the next update. Surely it will. That draw, of course, in the standings puts us 14th with 2 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss. And that puts Steaua 10th with 3 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss, with Steaua being at 10 points, us being at 8. Of course, again, nowhere near a disaster. We're level on points right now with Fenerbahce, and we are 5 points away from the undefeated Lazio, and looking at 8th is an opponent that did draw with us last match day out, and we are just 2 points away from 8th, same as 7th, same as 6th. I don't know with how many points we can get the top 8 out of these last 3 games. Of course, we always want to win. The ideal scenario is to get 3 out of 3, but we know that that's hard to impossible, especially having Porto in the Dragao. For me, I don't think it's an insane ask to win the 2 home games left, Twente and Karabakh, to end us off. If I'm not that mistaken, those are both home games. Someone do correct me if I'm wrong. And then we go to the Dragao in between. Of course, we'll have gotten rid of players, we'll have brought players in. Porto now stand, where are they? Porto now stand 23rd with 5 points. I think we go to the Dragao, and if we don't win, I think we need to draw. I think we need to leave Portugal with a point. And I think that 7 points, which for me, again, I'm not speaking about a scenario that's for sure gonna happen. I'm thinking of the scenario that's, in my opinion, needed for us to get the top 8. I think 7 points out of the next and final 3 games should get us through to the round of 16 immediately. I think so, at least. I don't know. I don't know what we'll do. I can't know what we'll do because, again, say the Twente game, which I think we'll get. I don't see us not winning that game. But with the clear out that will happen and the players that will bring in, I don't know what will happen in the other two. If our squad is healthy and if our squad is healthy, we are capable of pulling off a win in Portugal. I want to believe that as well. I think we can. But I'm saying that if we do pick up the win against Twente and the win against Karabakh, I think we can afford a draw in Portugal. I think that's the safest way to present an ideal scenario. Because while in Portugal we can win, I think we need to win against Twente and Karabakh, if that makes any sense, Nadir. And yeah, honestly, I think that that's about it. I don't know if there's anything else to say about yesterday. As I said, there is nothing really eventful that happened. Of course, the only player that I didn't touch on is Kostoulas. What's there to say about Zoulakis, who honestly is getting better and better and better, just unstoppably better, and we are so incredibly lucky to have him, and I wouldn't let him go for all the money in this world. So yeah, I think that's about it for me today. Quick little chat about yesterday. Yes, severe Buffon vibes, and honestly, build him a statue at this point. The basketball show will hopefully, if all goes well, be tomorrow because I need to sit down and watch the first half back because I completely missed the first half of the basketball yesterday. So yeah, thank you all so much for all you give this show. Once again, check out everything down below. And leave a comment, leave comments, leave questions, leave anything you want, leave opinions. Comments help massively, and I'll be more than happy to respond to each and every single one. And of course, you can freely interact with this show. It's the voice of the people. I'm not I don't work for anyone. I don't want to benefit anyone. I'm here for my opinion, and I'm here to provide some entertainment, quality entertainment to you all. So feel free to comment stuff. Feel free to message stuff. Feel free to leave questions in the Spotify question thing. Do anything and everything. Follow, like, all you want is down below. Christ above the William Masterclass comment. I think that's a perfect way to end this show. Very grateful for you all. I truly am. And I'll always, always be here to provide some entertainment and some comfort, whether that's after historic losses or historic wins. Thank you. See you soon, if not tomorrow.